Le journaliste de la BBC défie Poutine. À quoi ressemble l'avenir de la Russie?
Steve Rosenberg, BBC News. A question about the future of Russia. What future do you plan, do you build for your country and for your family? In this future, will any public dissent from the official line be suppressed by law, just as it is now? Will the search for enemies, both external and internal, continue to intensify? And in this future, will mobile internet be disconnected even more across the country? Will there be another new special military operation? Or will Russia take a different path? I remember you once said that our future is in our hands, that is, in the hands of everyone. But practically all the power of Russia is in your hands. That means, to a great extent, the future is as well. What it will be like, what lies ahead, a continuation of what we see now. Thank you. Look, what will the future of Russia be like? Will actions or people who disagree with the actions of the authorities be punished by law, as you said? You should, we believe, keep in mind our familiar law, which is constantly being picked apart by critics and agents. Dear colleague, I want to draw your attention to the fact that this is not our decision. This law was adopted in a number of Western countries, in the USA back in the 1930s, and all these laws, including the US law, are much stricter. It provides for criminal punishment up to imprisonment for activities in the political sphere when financed from abroad. We have nothing like that. Our law requires only one thing: to declare if you are engaged in political activity, to declare the sources of funding. We do not have repression or criminal prosecution. Moreover, if people stop engaging in political activity or refuse external sources of funding for their political activity, they are removed from these lists. And there are many such examples. And another question is what will happen next with the BBC. There is a multi-billion-dollar risk from the President of the United States to the BBC. These are their family matters. Let them sort it out themselves. I don't want to, salt your wounds there. I don't want to touch on this topic, although of course there is a problem. Unreliable information coverage and distortions. It's obvious. I think President Trump is right. It doesn't matter. There will be, you said, new special military operations. There will be no operations if you treat us with respect. You will support our interests just as we have constantly tried to support yours. If you do not deceive us like you did with NATO's eastward expansion, you said there would be no NATO movement to the east, not 1 inch. That's a straightforward thing. Quote, in our people they say, we were cheated. They simply disregarded our security interests. You created, well, not you personally, of course, but Western political actors created today's situation with your own hands. And you continue to escalate the situation. You constantly talk about preparing for a war with Russia. Well, you have been living with us, as far as I know, for more than 1 year. Well, you understand. I think those people talk too. Those who talk about the war with Russia also understand. So are we going to attack Europe or what? What kind of nonsense is this? So this is being done according to domestic political understandings. This is done to create the image of an enemy. There they create the image of an enemy, in this case from Russia, in order to cover up the explosions that many Western leaders have systematically carried out over a number of years, both in the field of economics and in the field of social policy. Where is this Green Ribbon Day, when coal enterprises are reopening, nuclear power plants were closed, and now they are being brought back? It's explosion after explosion. And everyone is now trying to cover it up with the evil Russia. They distract the attention of their own population from their own explosions on the external front. Essentially, your questions are basically attempts of the same kind. You said that all the power is in my hands. Yes, there is power that is in the hands of the President of the Russian Federation. And the contours of this power are clearly defined and written in the Constitution of the Russian Federation, the fundamental law of our country. And, let's say, when decisions are made at the legislative level, yes, I also, like in any country, sign these laws. But honestly, I am already afraid to say in what percentage relationship. But a large part of these laws is initiated by deputies of the State Duma or representatives of the upper chamber of the Russian Parliament, the Federation Council. These are all facts. Yes, of course, the President of Russia has great powers, but I believe that in our country the presidential form of leadership is justified today. But I want to finish with something different. We are ready to work with you, both with Great Britain and with Europe in general, and with the Soviet states, but on equal terms, with mutual respect for each other. Of course, if we achieve this, everyone would benefit from it. I have already mentioned one of the conversations I attended when the former Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany, Mr. Kohl, spoke. This was back in 1993. He said that the future of Europe, if it wants to remain an independent center of civilization, must necessarily be together with Russia. We, of course, complement each other. We will work with each other and will develop. If this does not happen, then Europe will constantly decline. Russia still, despite the fact that during the fight against inflation, our economic growth rate has decreased to 1%, we still occupy the 4th place in the world for purchasing power parity, after China, the USA, and India. Next comes Russia. I draw your attention to this fact. Behind us are Japan and the Federal Republic of Germany. The United Kingdom, which you represent, unfortunately holds only the 8th, 7th, 8th, or 9th place today. Well, 7th, 8th, it seems. But if we combined our efforts with the European countries, Russia and the European countries, our combined GDP by purchasing power parity would be greater than the US. Clearly, this is, well, all theoretical. But the fact that by combining and pooling our capabilities, we would thrive rather than fight each other, as you do in relation to Russia, is quite obvious. We are fighting with you, and you are fighting with us through the hands of Ukrainian nationalists. We are ready to stop these combat activities immediately, provided that Russia's security conditions are ensured in the medium and long term, and we are ready to cooperate with you.
Ce site peut vraiment vous aider à améliorer votre compréhension écrite et orale de l'anglais. Grâce à l'IA, il découpe les phrases en segments faciles à comprendre. Vous pouvez régler la vitesse, mettre en pause ou revenir en arrière pour saisir chaque phrase. Le site propose des traductions dans 20 langues, rendant l'apprentissage plus simple. Il suffit d'entrer en nieste.com dans votre navigateur. Essayez-le dès maintenant.